I'm David Mason with the town of Sandwich, and what we're doing today is having our annual pond discussion so that the community of Sandwich is aware of what is in place for monitoring the ponds for cyanobacteria for this coming beach season. So as the weather warms up, we typically can see cyanobacteria occur, and we just want to have a discussion how we're going to outline the process, how we monitor and then notify the general public through this beach season. Keep in mind that when we monitor cyanobacteria, we're doing it specifically for public health reasons. There are other groups out there that are monitoring the ponds, like the APCC, who are monitoring the ponds for the health of the pond. They're looking at it for a different reason. We are specifically going by public health standards when we monitor for cyanobacteria. So there's been a group. Today we have Trish McDonald from the Rec Department, Heather Gallant from the Health Department, and Dave DeCanto from the DNR. And they have been meeting through the winter months to put together the monitoring program and the communication chain. And we're just going to have a discussion about that today to outline so the people in Sandwich have an understanding of what will occur this season at the beaches. So where would we like to start as far as as far as the meetings that you've had to date, to start outlining the process?
Yeah.
So Heather, you want to
Sure,
start?
I can go ahead with that.
Sure.
As Dave stated, that we've all been meeting throughout the winter months with recreation, Tricia McDonald, and conservation, David DeCanto. And we've just been working on plans and updating our plans and, how we're going to be working together to respond to any concerns regarding cyanobacteria.
Okay, so let's say that, so the call, there's a couple of ways this is going to occur, I guess, is that there's a program in place that I'm aware of, and that Trish, you've initiated with your staffing, and then there's the general public placing a call. So as far as if we have, let's start with the daily staff down on the pond. How does that occur?
Okay, so every morning our beach staff will be walking any of the bathing beaches. So that it's usually going to be a head lifeguard or it will be a beach supervisor. If we notice anything that could be a possible significant type of scum or anything that would indicate that, we will take pictures and they will send it to the health department. The health department will then come down and determine whether or not it's a significant or insignificant enough, like if it is actually cyano. And then from that point, we'll be taking a collection, and new this year, and we'll be taking that collection. That'll also go off to the Barnstable County for further testing. In the event that we do feel that it is a significant scum or something to be of concern or levels high enough to indicate that, we will then set an advisory. So when an advisory goes into place, our beach supervisor then lets the gate attendant know, and then also our lifeguards know. So anybody that comes to the beach during our regular beach hours would be notified at the gate and then again at the beach. Outside of those hours, there's now kiosks at each one of the beaches. And in those kiosks, there would be a sign that would indicate that they had been higher than levels or that we were waiting back for those results, actually. And then simultaneously, the health department would then take that information. That information would then be posted on their site in advisory. And then we're also working with IT to send out a notify me. If people are familiar with that, through the town website, you can sign up to get notifications specific to the areas of your interest. So you can sign up right there to get those notifications, and that will go out.
Okay, so let's back up a little then. So you're utilizing your staff because they're there daily.
Absolutely.
So they're being trained. What training is occurring?
So actually, the health department will be working with us during our staff training and onboarding this year, and they'll be showing them the signs, what to look for, how to test, how to take collections, and then they're also teaching them a little bit of the science behind it, what this means, and so that they can better answer people's questions. So that they'll be really a big part of our training this year.
Okay, so the rec department's connected to the health department at that point. And then as far as how is DNR in the communication chain?
Well, we always work with DNR anyways, but they usually are the first over at Ryder also. So our, lifeguard would also obviously talk to Dave and or get communication over to them. And then we work with them on all of our beaches. Anyways, we work simultaneously. So once that decision has been made, we would automatically reach out. We actually will probably all have what's the word I want to, like food, phone chain, exactly, that will all
Right.
be.
So you're all in a text group,
Yeah,
so you're all
exactly.
familiar with what's going on.
Yeah,
That's what's
absolutely.
been done in the past also. So
Exactly.
everybody's on the same chain and getting
Mm-hmm.
the same information. So once it comes up to the health department is notified, Heather, so what happens? So you get the information that there's a potential, you get the pictures.
Right.
What step do you take next then?
Sure. As Tricia mentioned, we'll then go out and actually view the areas of concern, that Tricia brought up to us, and collectively we'll make a decision whether or not it is significant or not significant enough. And if we deem it that it is significant, we would give an advisory, post an advisory, and get that out as described through the other media channels, on the Notify Me. And we would also update it on our website,
Okay.
the Sandwich Board of Health website.
So as far as the term you used again is advisory.
Correct.
Okay, because the current the regulations that exist only provide for an advisory, not a closure. Is that correct?
That's correct, because they're really guidelines at this point from the Mass Department of Public Health.
Okay, because there's no specific regulations to cyanobacteria. It's just guidelines. at this
Exactly.
point. Okay, so you're just following the guidelines
Right.
based on the observations and the levels that you see. You post an advisory, and then the public is notified through the website, the
Correct.
Notify Me. Yeah.
Notify Me,
Right.
and then you're still communicating with each of the departments involved at that point also.
Right. We're in constant communication.
Okay, and then Mr. DeCanto, so
Yes.
you have people at certain beach areas also. What's their role in that process?
So, like we've done in the past, our full-time staff as well as our summer staff is trained on observing. Best time to observe a bloom of cyanobacteria is in the morning. So if they see something that they're not sure of, they immediately notify me. The procedure this year will be they'll have an actual form to fill out on site, weather conditions, what do I see, is there something else going on? And what we're going to do is they'll take a picture of that, and then it'll go directly to the health department, to either Heather or to Mike. We'll do this at Ryder because we're usually the first ones there at Ryder. We'll also do it around Peters Pond because we're on the patrol boat on weekends from late June through Labor Day. And I just want to sort of remind the people watching this that this cyanobacteria, sometimes known as blue-green algae, occurs naturally in the environment. Think of it as plants. So if you have sunlight, warm weather, you're going to see them bloom. Nutrients coming mainly from fertilizer and septic systems and help it to grow faster. So what we're talking about is something that occurs naturally in the water, but when it grows to a certain level and density, a lot of times you'll see that pea soup green color, then that's when it becomes something that we need to watch out for and be careful about. But I want to let everybody know it does occur naturally. If you want to help the situation, then pick up after your dog. Don't use fertilizer on your lawns. And if you live on water, especially the fresh water, make sure that you plant vegetation between the water's edge and wherever the area near your house is, as opposed to a bright green lawn that has chemicals on it right down to the water.
Okay, and then so what locations are we monitoring specifically, just so the public understands specifically where we are monitoring?
So that would be the swimming beaches. So
Okay.
for us, that's Peters Pond at Oakcrest Cove. It's also at Snake Pond in the swim area, and then at Ryder Conservation on Wakeby, and it's right in our swim area right there.
Okay, so when it's observed in those specific areas that you have the monitoring program, that's where the advisories are posted. Are those
Correct.
advisories posted for those specific beach locations?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. And then as far as when there's an advisory posted, how does this resolve? As far as at what point once the advisory is posted, how does it proceed from there, and when does a removal of the advisory occur?
Hi, Regina. Sure, yeah. Thank you. Once the advisory goes up, due to a visible bloom that we deemed of significance enough to warrant the advisory, then we would, once it dissipates a little bit, we would pull a sample once it appears to be clear. So that sample would then go to the Barnstable County lab for analysis, because sometimes, even though it doesn't look like there's anything in there, there might still be
Yep.
a significant enough amount of bacteria in there to warrant it to stay as an advisory posting. So that would help us to determine, once the lab tests it, that it is clear again for folks to go in for swimming.
Okay, so and let's just say that as far as the sample is sent to the lab,
Sure.
let's say it comes back that there's a quantity that still warrants the advisory. What's the time frame after that? So the advisory stays up.
Correct. Right.
Okay, and then so does a retest occur at that point?
We would do a retest then if it's still indicated that it was advised to keep the advisory
Yep,
up.
yep.
So we would we would pull another sample at that point for further analysis to see if it is clear enough to pull down that advisory.
Okay, very good. And then that is on that communication
Right.
messaging amongst the departments, so everybody's familiar. But at the same time, the monitoring is still continuing daily based on the staffing that we have at those locations. And then Trish, as far as the rec department, because you do run swim programs, how is that communicated?
So, so at Snake Pond, we would notify if there was an advisory. We would notify our swim lessons, and they would we would not have swim lessons while the advisory is in effect. And then at Oak Crest Cove, then the campers would not be swimming. However, at Ryder and at Oak Crest Cove, we still would have kayaking and stand-up paddleboard, as those are transient and passive recreation. So it wouldn't be in that immediate area that they actually, they wouldn't be launching from an area that we felt was not safe. But those two programs would continue.
Okay, and I mean, because we've had advisories, you've shifted the swim lessons in
absolutely.
the past, so there's that your options are all outlined at this
Absolutely,
point.
yeah. And
Okay.
we would evaluate that as the summer rolled out, or it deemed it. We absolutely would, because
Okay.
the health and safety of our patrons and staff is the first priority. So we would absolutely.
Okay, so, and again, we want to just emphasize that it is an advisory. Are there certain activities that are, allowable within an advisory, or, what about kayaking? What, putting a canoe in? Where do we stand? With that?
Yep, we still allow that. Again, that would be considered that transient passive recreation, where people would obviously not stay in that immediate area. And as long as it wasn't at that immediate launch area, we would continue to allow people to do just that. We would obviously let people know that there was an advisory in effect at that beach, and they could make their, as in their own decision
Okay.
based on that.
And again, where would people find information on this? Just we'll kind of close this up but where would we find information?
The best place I would say, if you're at the beach, would be the kiosks. There'll be QR codes that will direct you to the town webpage. That would be the water quality page, which that will have the testing results from the whole week, or if there's any advisories, you can scan that QR code, and also you would have the option to sign up for that Notify Me. And then obviously you could always call one of our departments, and we could also give the information. But if you're planning a day at the beach and you have concerns, my first place to visit would be the town website. And
Okay.
that would be in real time.
Very good. So this is just a daily activity
Absolutely.
through the
Yep.
summer months. Okay,
Absolutely.
great. Is there anything else that the public should be aware of?
I would just like to point out that what we've put into place here for this summer, between the monitoring and the concept of maybe looking to test, is well beyond what the state requires at the Department of Public Health level. It's not required at all. The town has taken it upon themselves to really look at this carefully and put a process in place that was felt very well thought through, and all the way from the way we test through the outreach to the public.
Okay, great. Well, you've done a great job. So it's not, it's a great process in place. And if anyone has any questions about it, I mean,
Absolutely.
just is it best to give a call or
Yeah,
to the
absolutely.
website, or to give the departments a call?
I think you can get a lot of information from the website,
Right.
but if there's any questions outlining, absolutely reach out. I'm sure any of our departments would be happy to help people get the information that they need
Excellent.
Sure.
Well,
and reassure people.
again, thank you for, taking the
you.
time, taking a look at the process, making sure, and then going above and beyond also as far as what the state process is. So, so we can look forward to a safe and enjoyable summer season at the ponds this year.
Yes,
So,
Yep.
that's the goal.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Kevin. Thanks.